Vaginal dryness, one of the top 6 symptoms that I'm addressing in this series that most of the postmenopausal female I work with individually bring to sessions. Some women have extreme discomfort with it, some don't have much at all. Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above. Hi, everybody, and welcome to your second 50. You're joining me on this episode, then you are in my series on what I am calling what is the guidebook for postmenopausal females for managing the symptoms and the change in your body once you are postmenopause. And I am now on episode number 3 of a 6-part series, and each episode is addressing one specific symptom or new state postmenopausally that a woman has to manage now that you're postmenopause. And this episode, we're going to talk about a symptom or a state that many women who I work with individually are looking for guidance for. Not every woman experiences it to the same degree, but if you are somebody who does experience this, it can be very, very, very painful and limiting. And the symptom or new state of being that I'm talking about is vaginal dryness. So obviously, one of the main times that you're going to be experiencing this and really have it come to the surface is during intercourse. And from what I understand from the women who have experienced this at a very high level, it's not just a discomfort of dry skin. It is like a feeling of like ripping skin. The friction, it just causes unbearable pain, takes away the enjoyment of intimacy, and therefore becomes a problem because, we go into menopause now in our late 40s, 50s. By the time you're 60, I think 99.9% of women are past, but, we're living to 85, 90, 100 now. And that's another 30 years of, wanting to have intimacy with people we love. So an issue, right? So I'm going to talk about, behavioral medicine. That's my term for what are some lifestyle day-to-day practices that you can do that are not medication, prescription medication. You can go to your gynecologist and there are, pharmacology grade treatments that you can get. And if you are experiencing this, I would recommend you go and talk to your practitioner to see if one of those products might be of value to you. Whether you do that or not, the things I'm going to talk about right now would also be an aid. So if you don't do it, these are things that might actually minimize the discomfort. And if you are doing it, these practices I'm going to talk about may help it to be even less, problematic. So either way, what I'm going to talk about next is going to be of a benefit to you. All right. So what are some day-to-day habit behaviors that we can do that I can guide you to some practices that will help to decrease the vaginal dryness and the discomfort in intimacy? Now, you have to understand what causes that dryness that we're describing is a direct relation to 0 or low estrogen postmenopausal. Estrogen does work to lubricate, the vaginal cavity. And without the estrogen, the skin loses its, integrity, and the dryness then becomes a problem. So it's the loss of estrogen that is the issue. All right. So how can we work with that? How can we, mitigate that when we are now in the state of our life where for the rest of our lives, our bodies are not going to be producing more estrogen? All right. So 2 ways to address this. The first way I'm going to talk about is what can we eat? What can we take in, through our digestive system that then gets broken down and then transported through the bloodstream to all the areas of our body that can help to mitigate this? And then what are some topical things that we can do? So that is what I'm going to talk about. That's my approach now for the rest of this video. All right. So what are some things that we can take in? So, again, if the dryness is directly related to a decrease of estrogen in your body, what are some ways that we can then bring estrogen, increase it a little bit, not to the point that it was when we were younger women, but enough where it might minimize that dryness vaginally. All right. So we do have foods that are, contain elements that are called phytoestrogens. All right. And basically what these are components in the matrix of they're all plants, that are a different type of estrogen than we produced ourselves when we were ovulating and having our regular cycle. But these phytoestrogens will bind to the receptor sites and, mimic and work similar to the estrogen that we were producing ourselves when we were younger. All right. So that would be a benefit then if low estrogen is part of the problem in the vaginal dryness post-menopause. All right. So eating foods that are higher in phytoestrogens. So what are those foods? And they're common and they're likable. So if you know what they are, you can try and start to increase the volume of those versus some others and see if you don't notice a difference, right? So the foods that I'm talking about, the number one that most people know are soy and soy-derived products. So, we're talking about soybeans. So you can have edamame, which is a great snack combined with, edamame would be a protein carb, and you combine that with maybe, a fat to make a snack. So edamame with maybe some low-fat cottage cheese or, things along those lines. So, but edamame, in that, you can just edamame alone, edamame with dipped in salsa, dipped in hummus, dipped in guacamole, kind of like a chip and dip kind of a thing, but using the edamame, the pods that you can buy in frozen food section, and that's all they are, edamame. So that is a very good source of phytoestrogens. I am so excited to announce your second 50.life. I have been working in the fitness industry with individuals, both men and women, over 50 years old for 42 years and really specialized in the last 10 on over 50. I'm over 50 myself by a long shot. And I've helped literally thousands of men and women both to lose the extra body fat that they gain in the second half of their life. 2, feel better in their own bodies energetically. I have helped people to reverse and eliminate health problems, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, symptoms of menopause, to name just a few. On this platform, you will have access to an entire body of resources, exercise videos, mini courses, eating plans that are specially designed for over 50 men and women because there's special needs for our demographic. And in addition to the virtual resources that you'll have access to if you join at any time that you'd like, you also have access to me for one-on-one coaching through a group coach call every month. So you can bring your specifics and we can address those as you're also getting information that is specific to the over 50 population. 50s, 60s, 70s, and now 80s is the demographic that I'm working with. So it's your second 50.life, YOURSECOND 50.life. Go check it out. It might be the single best thing that you've looked at like in your second 50s. Soybeans themselves, out of the pod, that you can put into salads, that you can mix into omelets, that you can have as a side, as a starch side, which is high in protein, but also high in the phytoestrogens, which is the point of this video. Things made from soybeans, so tofu, tempeh. These are protein supplements that are plant-based. So if you're a vegan, that would be a great source for protein as well as phytoestrogens. If you're not a vegan, again, cutting up some tofu, stir-frying it in a marinade or some spices, and then throwing that into a salad would be one way to get this in. I tell people cut it up and marinate it in like a dressing of some sort, and then put it into an air fryer. So you're kind of crisping it up a bit. And now you can have that as a part of a snack with crackers, high in phytoestrogens. In addition, other foods that you might not know about that are high in phytoestrogens, yams, big one. So, that could be a starch as part of a dinner. It could be cut up into, logs and then put into an air fryer as yam fries. That you could have with a lunch or with an omelet in the morning. So yams, another high source of phytoestrogen food. Pomegranate, believe it or not, many people love pomegranate. So opening up a pomegranate, the seeds, you can mix that into an overnight oats. You could throw that onto a salad. Lots of ways to use the pomegranate, which is high in phytoestrogens. Flaxseed, Seeds in general and nuts are high in phytoestrogens, but flaxseed is very high. So ground flaxseed, again, put into an overnight oats, put over the top of a Greek yogurt or low-fat cottage cheese, sprinkled into a scrambled eggs. I do that a lot. Mix into a breading that you might be breading chicken cutlets or chicken tenders or eggplant. So ground flax seeds, ground because that's going to release the elements. Whole flax seeds just pass through your system undigested. And then oats. So again, overnight oats, very big right now, but oats themselves high in phytoestrogens. So there are, and did I mention quinoa? Quinoa also, again, very high. A lot of people using it right now as a gluten-free option for a starch to add into, again, you could have that cold, put into a salad, a side dish at a dinner, a side dish as part of a breakfast, like a quinoa breakfast, hot quinoa, with some chopped nuts and some berries on it. With some Greek yogurt, that could be a nice breakfast. So many foods, most of which people like, high in the phytoestrogens, and just kind of paying attention to them and trying to have 1 or 2 servings of them every day to boost the estrogen, the phytoestrogens in your body that may help with vaginal dryness. You're not going to notice that immediately, but it's something that, has been proven to have a positive effect with consistency. Many women I work with are like, well, I got to stay away from, phytoestrogens because I had an estrogen related cancer and I'm on, estrogen blockers. And so I can't do the phytoestrogens. And up until fairly recently, that was agreed upon. But now the newer research on cancer, estrogen related cancers, is that these phytoestrogens actually do, bind to the receptor sites where other estrogens would. And so they not only exacerbate a possible estrogen-related cancer, they actually are now being viewed as blocking, because then other estrogens don't lock into that receptor site because the phytoestrogens do, and they don't have the same corruptive estrogen enhancing negatives that go with an estrogen-related cancer. So, look that up, talk to your doctors about it. If you are, an estrogen cancer survivor, and see what their position is. I'm providing information for your knowledge, and then, double check it and see if that might be a fit for you. The phytoestrogen foods. All right. Now, those are things that you can take in orally. The second recommendations from behavioral medicine I want to talk about in this video is creams, okay, topical creams. So again, I mentioned yams are very high in phytoestrogens. You can go online, you can go into pharmacies, and you can buy wild yam cream. And it's not applied vaginally. This would be applied, on your pulse points, like so on the inside of your elbow where the blood flow is closest to the surface, inner thighs. This gets absorbed into your inner cavity of your body, picked up by the bloodstream, and then carried out to other parts of your body, hence the vaginal walls. And again, wild yams higher in phytoestrogens. So now you're topically applying these phytoestrogens as a method to get into your body, absorbed systemically, and then they will help to lower the dryness because you're bringing the phytoestrogens in to replace the lost estrogen. Those are topical creams that are outside of the vagina. So wild yam creams. Again, you can go to your gynecologist, and they are also have, estrogen and progesterone creams that are vaginally inserted. That's a different thing. And like I said, that's not what I'm addressing this podcast about, but make you aware of it so that you can talk to your practitioners. That might be something that might help in conjunction with the wild yam creams. And then finally, there are vaginal suppositories that, again, non-pharmaceutical, and they will contain, some phytoestrogen related ingredients, but then also lubricants. So hyaluronic acid, aloe vera, to name a couple ingredients that are put into these. And these are suppositories injected into the vaginal cavity to lubricate the skin there, either done on a regular daily basis to keep it more moist, or applied, before intercourse to alleviate some of that dryness. those creams, some of them do have like a phytoestrogen component to them. Many of them are just different lubricants to help to like kind of topically address the symptom, the dryness, whereas the phytoestrogens, either in cream form, vaginally inserted, applied on the skin, or orally ingested, are addressing a more of a systemic level of estrogen through your body, and the vaginal dryness will be targeted, but then also other things throughout your body, like recruitment of calcium and vitamin D into the bones to keep your bones strong, which I'm going to talk about in a subsequent episode. But my point is, when you're ingesting the phytoestrogens, you're getting more benefit than just the vaginal dryness. Whereas when you're doing the suppositories, you're addressing the vaginal dryness specifically. And again, it might be a combination of those two type approaches or behavioral medicines that might best serve you. All right. So vaginal dryness, one of the top 6 symptoms that I'm addressing in this series that most of the postmenopausal female I work with individually bring to sessions. Some women have extreme discomfort with it. Some don't have much at all. Wherever you fall on the spectrum, I want to give you some tools that you can do like on a day-to-day basis that are not pharmacology. And that is what this episode just addressed. So I hope that you got some pearls. If you found this valuable, please, there's 3 more episodes in this series, and there were 2 before this. So, go back and look at those and follow along. You can hit like and subscribe so you get alerts to when these episodes drop. You can join my over 50, Your Second 50 platform, where this series will be available, plus many, many other series and other resources for women and men actually over 50, and the specific issues that we are, addressing, have to address as we're getting older, and we want to make our second 50 even better than our first 50. Hence my catchphrase. So thank you for joining me, everybody. Stay tuned for the next episode. Hope to see you there. And in the meantime, live your optimal life. Take care, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.